Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time. All around, welcome! I'm carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I've been selling for about the past 7 years. Joe. As a full-time copywriter and branding expert, and usually I post on Freelance Fridays, but this is part of my Life as a Freelancer series about me training to run a marathon. I'm so excited to do that, but I can honestly say I'm getting a little tired. We're officially at the halfway point. I feel like it's been a long time and we still have a ways to go. If you're new to this series, you are welcome to jump in right here and follow along, or you can go back to the beginning. These are the thumbnails, and I also have them linked down below in the description. I'm providing kind of a run-by-run, day-by-day look into what it is really like for a very, very average person to train to run a marathon. So, like I mentioned, week 6, and now that I've been doing this for a while, I've been noticing that the start of my weeks is usually one of like the weakest points, emotionally, physically, whatever. For example, Monday is my active rest day, so I always do yoga on that day. But spoiler alert, it's actually Tuesday. Yet again, I failed my Monday requirement. If you can't hear it all or see it in my face, I am dying from allergies. It literally hit me like a truck. I feel like I have a terrible hangover. Hopefully it's nothing worse than allergies. I'm assuming it's allergies, but I just feel like crap. So yesterday I did nothing. I just feel like actual terrible. I feel terrible. So I'm hoping that I can get over this, or at least find a new sense of normalcy, because this sucks. Speedy 3 complete, and I knew that that was gonna be a hard run. As I introduced this morning, I just feel like garbage. My whole head is just a pile of cotton balls, kind of like dizzy, tired, just really fatigued in general. I knew it was gonna be hard, but I still tried to push myself, and Eric ran with me, which was a little bit of motivation, because at some point he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to run it quick, and he left me, so then it was me just trying to barely keep up with him. Plus a headwind. I mean, I have a lot of excuses, but it was hard. It was fine. It was a 9-minute pace mile, which is on my definitely like faster side for me, which is good. And I just probably haven't said this yet, but it's weird because I can motivate myself to not stop running for 2.5 hours, and that's like completely fine with me. But if you tell me I have to run hard for 30 minutes, somehow that doesn't work for me. And I have a really hard time pushing myself like with heart rate and feeling like I'm overworking, but I can hit this like nice, steady, maintaining kind of feeling for a long period. So that's one of the reasons that I've been pursuing distance running over trying to like get my pace faster and my time down, just because motivation wise, that's so much less fun for me. Anyway, just run thoughts for the day. Eric ran with me today for our speedy 3 miles, and I am so proud of him. He did a 25-minute 5K, which is by far his fastest run ever. I was not as pushing myself, so I did 27 minutes. It was good, and I worked hard for it, but it was not the very fastest I could go, because I know that I have a lot more to run later this week. I was also really excited because my new shoes got here from Nike. I ordered 2 new pairs of shoes. I've been obsessed with one single pair of shoe, which I've actually bought 3 different pairs of the same kind of shoe because I love it so much. And that's the 2018 Nike Free Run Flyknit. They're my absolute favorite pair of shoes. They're so lightweight, but they're really designed for short runs. It literally says on the website they're meant for like 5Ks and sprints and not a marathon. So I'm starting to look for shoes that might be better equipped to long runs, to handling the stress of that. And so today I ran in my first new pair of shoes, and they are okay. They're quite a bit heavier, and that's part of the reason I love my Flyknit so much, is they're just so lightweight. Getting used to a heavier pair of shoes is a little bit odd. And then also my toes go to sleep, and even on a 3-mile run, my feet should not be sleeping. I'm gonna see if I run, another short run in them, if I like them or not, or if they're gonna need to be returned, or maybe they'll just be cute walking around shoes. I'm not sure yet. And so my other new pair of shoes I will run in tomorrow for my 5 miles, 5 or 6, I can't remember. And I'm hoping that I like them more. They have the Flyknit upper that I really like, and they're also a little bit more lightweight. So I'm hoping they're more conducive to the long run with the things that I already like, but just a little bit more support. So I'm not really excited about having to change up my shoes just because I love my shoes and I know what I want. And my other 3 pairs are completely destroyed at this point. It's just hard to find what I'm looking for in the middle of training and also with all these shipping delays. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, very, very first world problem complaints. But in the midst of all this running, that's kind of what's on my mind right now. So I hope that you're doing well. And just quick update on work, I'm finding a much better chill work-life balance right now. I'm very excited about the amount of work that I have. It's not too much, and I'm really enjoying coming back into it with a fresh perspective after my week off last week. So much better frame of mind for sure. Easy 6 miles today, and it did feel like a very nice, comfortable run the whole time. I tried my new pair of shoes and I actually really like them. I'm so glad that these ones feel like a winner. I can just tell that there's just a little bit more like bounce and cushion underneath them, but they're not that much heavier than my favorite old time shoes, and they fit with a nice like non-constrictive feel. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't talked yet, but I'm reading Under the Splendid Sun, A Thousand Splendid Suns, that's what it's called. And it follows an Afghani woman who is an unwanted child, and after her mother passes away, she's married off as a child bride. It is somewhat-ish similar to A Woman Is No Man, which I read a couple weeks ago and really loved. It was very powerful. And I think that it's a very powerful story, don't get me wrong, and I am enjoying it, but it's just not quite as gripping as the other dramas that I've read. And it's also just a little bit like harder to connect with the characters, I think. And so I'm not as invested in it. I will definitely finish it and I am enjoying it. I do think it's a good book. But I think after this, I might need to go on like a rom-com spree or something, because it's just been a lot of really sad books in a row. And I think it's maybe time for a little change of pace. I'm looking forward to rest day tomorrow because my knees are getting a little weird. They're not painful, they don't hurt. It's just like I'm aware of my knees. And whenever you're aware of a joint, you know you're in trouble. Keeping an eye on that. Well, folks, we made it to the end of yet another week. This is what, week 6? Which really is like week 7 for me because I started this whole thing 1 week early and that I didn't vlog just to like get myself into the flow of the training plan. So I feel like I've pretty much been doing this forever, and I will not say I'm getting sick of it because I'm not, and it's still like a very doable challenge for me. But I can say that it's been a long freaking time and there's still a long time to go. 12 weeks, 3 months, a quarter of a year. Is that math right? Oh my gosh, it's such a long time. So I'm glad that we're making progress. Very much looking forward to being over the hump to week 7 next week. Thank God. Today was 14 miles and for some reason my GoPro was out of battery. I think it's because I often get distracted and forget to actually turn it off when it's done downloading. So I'm pretty sure it just was turned on until it died. Not that my run footage really adds that much to the vlogs, but I like including it. It was supposed to be thunderstorms all day today. I woke up early and started again at 7 a.m. so that I would make it through before the storm hit, but it kept saying it might rain, so I had my rain jacket tied around my waist the whole time. And of course it didn't. It was a beautiful day. I mean, it's cloudy skies, but it's definitely blue skies behind there. Lots of sunshine. I had really talked myself last night through like, if it rains, it's okay. If it starts thundering and lightning, like what's my backup plan? And so I actually had really anxious dreams last night thinking that it was gonna be really stormy and bad weather today. And of course it wasn't, so nothing to worry about there. I'm getting much more into my book, A Thousand Splendid Suns, and the way that the first character was introduced to me, we left her story for a very long time. So I'm glad that at the end of my run, I finally got to the point in the story where those two characters come back together, because if I had finished my run before that point, my rating of the book probably for this session of listening would have been much lower. But now it's beginning to make more sense. And again, it's a really good book. I'm enjoying it. It's just not as gripping or honestly as interesting or as detailed, or as there's something missing for me compared to some of the other dramas that I've been reading recently. It's funny because when I'm on my runs, I think of all these things that I'm going to want to kind of update the vlog on, but then I sit down to do this and I really can't remember like anything I wanted to say. Clearly they're not that important, but I did have at least like 6 things in my run that I thought, ooh, I should talk about that. I did finally map my route for my marathon. Like I've mentioned before, it was supposed to take place at the top of a mountain. run and be a straight downhill race. Obviously with coronavirus pandemic, that has been canceled. And so I'm doing a virtual race just by myself. It takes a little bit of creativity to map a route that is a loop and isn't on heavily trafficked roads. I'm kind of planning my cheerleading crew. I'm really scared that I'm not gonna be able to do it, which is such a terrible mentality to go into it with. But part of the reason that I want to have some people kind of assigned to help is so that I feel even more obligated to keep going in a weird way. So my husband keeps saying like, why do you need your mom to be your water station? You can just go out and do it. It's so daunting. It's just such a long way to run and to run by myself. So I'm kind of having to mull over my plan, but luckily I have several more weeks to do that. If you're running this with me, congrats, you just ran 14 miles. And if you're not, there's still hope for you. Go out and run, go for a walk, do something, but you are an amazing person. Thank you so much for getting to the end of my video, and I look forward to seeing you next week for week 7.